Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. We are here to talk about the Challenge Battle for a New Champion, episode 19 finale recap. My name's Alan Aguirre. I'm joined by my lovely co-host. We have the Southern Luke Muncie,
What's up, guys?
the Vermontian Zoe Trimboli.
Hi, everyone.
Now, for if any reason you have not watched the finale episode and you clicked on this video, please click out of it within the next 10 to 15 seconds because we're going to go right out and say who won this season. And that's because, we're not going to just talk around it for 40 minutes. We have to talk about it right now, give our instant reaction. So it's coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner of the Challenge Battle for New Champions is Emmanuel Niagu.
The People's Champ.
Ugh.
Look, there was only one outcome that was going to make us happy. Like, if we're being honest, like there's another outcome that I think I would have been kind of okay with, but truly happy, smiling, giddy ear to ear, one person only. So Nurys didn't win, which you all know we were rooting for. Someone else had to win. It was a 4 and 5 shot.
Probably best case scenario otherwise, as far as like predictability, but that's about it. They're all pretty grating.
I think this is the worst scenario, or maybe the second worst.
Yeah, I think the only worst scenario would be Berna for me.
Actually, she's chaotic at least. Like she's a mess of a person. That's like sometimes she's entertaining, so other times she's just very annoying. I mean, this guy Emmanuel, like no offense to him. Actually, offense to him. He can barely carry a conversation or hold my attention in confessionals. When you have a season like Battle for a New Champion and you're looking for a new champion who can carry your franchise in some way, he's not the guy.
I just want to put this out into the universe. I sincerely hope that he gets the Jenny West treatment and we never see him again.
Yeah. I sincerely hope, Alan, that this inspires you to write an article called The Most Under-Edited Winners, because he's got to be there.
I don't know that he's under-edited. What could he have given them? Like, what could they have possibly edited to make him interesting?
Nothing. His kind of hookups. Oh, he cheated on his girlfriend. Yes, let's root for him.
What's tough is he doesn't even do that in an entertaining way. Because like when Tony does it, Tony's a mess, and it's such entertaining TV. Emmanuel does it, and then he talks about himself like he's above everyone else with like an elitism, like a holier than thou energy. That said, good competitor. Not good enough though to keep my attention, like a Jordan or a Landon, where like obviously being compared to Jordan and Landon, it's tough. But if you aren't going to bring entertainment, you have to wow me on screen. And he's very good, but he doesn't wow me.
Yeah, it just had me wishing that we'd had some stronger competitors still left in the final because I think Nurys did pretty well, but she definitely didn't do her best. And we have not much to gauge his performance by. I think he did fine comparatively. He did very well. I can't think of a time I've been so disappointed in the winner probably since Battle of the Seasons when San Diego won. I don't think I've been this wholeheartedly disappointed since then.
Yeah. Double Agents is up there for me a little bit, but this is like at least CT's like someone we recognize and know. Amber B was a rookie. It was kind of cool.
And like Amber was like a freakish cardio phenom in that final. Like you can give credit there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's also. Oh, go for it.
I was just gonna say too. It makes me wish that 2 weeks ago, Emmanuel had been purged out in that challenge, that he was eligible to be purged. James had won, and we finagled our way to an all-women's final. Because if we had Olivia, Mariah, Michelle, Nurys, throw an extra girl, I could handle this. Like we would have options.
Yeah, Michelle had been there instead, and it was an all-women's final. Would have been would have just been better TV too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had to complain about some things being unequal, some things going this way, that way. I will say this, like with Amber's win, at least there's like the historic aspect of there hadn't been a black winner in like 20 seasons. So that was at least, kind of cool, a Big Brother winner. Like Emmanuel, it's just underwhelming of a winner. That's the thing to me. It's like I'm not even that upset. I'm just turning the page and moving on with my life from this season. It's like a book with a really bad ending. That's like not even a good twist. It's a twist, but not a good twist at all.
Yeah, and I keep up with spoilers. I know that sometimes you all do. Zoe didn't this season necessarily, but I knew that he won. So like even starting this season, it was like I have a clear-cut person who I want to win, Nerese, and I didn't just bandwagon because I knew she got second. I bandwagoned years ago on Are You the One. Loved her forever. But it made it feel like it was going to be hard to do this season. Luckily, it wasn't. I enjoyed this season podcasting. But this winner is just like okay.
Moving on.
Like there's no trajectory storyline wise for him, where some people win a season and it's like, I want to see them next season battled out with other people. I want to see them defend their crown. For him, I do not care. I hope we never see him again.
Well, and just another reason having a male and female champion this season would have made it so much better. If we were able to be talking about Emmanuel and Nerese as champions right now, like what a phenomenal season it would have been for Nerese. Like capital letters, exclamation points, like this is her season. Just rename 39. Nerese is like whatever. Yeah. Sorry. that was not what I was
Nerese's whatever is still a better title than Battle for New Champion, so I'll take it.
Truly. But yeah, it just I hate it here.
We're haters. Like, and we're unapologetically like, because we talked about this show for 19 weeks. There weren't many Emmanuel conversations, like, and there weren't many cast members on the board, but we weren't talking about him very much. And it's because he just didn't really bring much to the table. And now you're telling us he's our champion, he's the winner. That's what this season has been building up to. No, it just hasn't.
Yeah, he just sucks. I don't like. I could just go on and on about it, but I have nothing nice to say. And Alan, you said something about him like not holding our attention in a confessional, and I don't want anyone to think that's about him having English as a second language, because on Turbo's debut season, before he went completely insane
off the rails,
yeah, he was so endearing and so lovely, and the fans really like enjoyed listening to him and watching him, and he didn't say many more words than Emmanuel did. He just was a more interesting person.
Emmanuel's far more proficient in English than Turbo is, but you're right. It also makes me think for him, and even back to Amber B, knowing they win the season, wouldn't you try to like put something in there, like at least attempt? Like we got that one weird scene with his mom a few weeks ago whenever Burnham went off on Kyland, but like they edit the show after it films, even if they were doing it while it's filming, like, oh, let's retroactively go back and plug in this clip, put in this confessional, just so the audience has some type of connection to the winner.
I think he really just gave them nothing to work with.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll even compare to Berna. You said Turbo, but like Berna keeps my attention when she's on screen, even though it may be like nails on a chalkboard at times. Berna keeps my attention. Berna, you can't help but pay attention because she makes everything about her.
You can hate watch her.
Yeah, and I want to say this too, because I feel like people always make this argument. Good on Emmanuel for winning and playing the low-key game that he did as a competitor. That is phenomenal. So happy for him in that aspect. But in terms of us as viewers, that doesn't make for me to say, wow, this season really stands out. And people can say all the time, the winner doesn't make the season. That's true for some seasons, sure. The winner could have absolutely made this season. The winner could have made Double Agents.
I think it was a good season overall. I think it just ended with a sad face.
Yeah, we got double graham cracker. And we're finishing that analogy, but yeah.
Let's talk about the final itself. Finally, let's go into a little recap of it. We come out of day one with Emmanuel having to vote someone into elimination. It was obviously going to be Nerese. On top of it, they have beef between each other. On top
He's
of
weirdly
that,
obsessed with her.
Yeah, and I do think she is the bigger threat. Even though Corey came in second, if it comes down to a puzzle, I think she's just the bigger threat. I think Emmanuel is more confident he could be Corey and everything. So tosses in Nurys. Nurys goes. They do a draw. It would have been fun to see her pick Colleen or Berna because they have beef as well. Instead, she pulls out Mariah's name and they play.
I think, like, in terms of getting to watch Nurys go against someone, Mariah was worst case scenario.
Because even Mariah in this final, like, if Mariah won this whole season, I'd be like, okay. Like, I've talked badly about her this season, but, like, it still would have been better than what we got.
I think also, like, Nurys wasn't hyped to go against Mariah. Like, I would have liked to see her have, like, she was locked in, ready to, like, win at all costs. But I would have liked to see her going against Colleen, dying to get rid of her, because Colleen's also been, like, weirdly obsessed with her through this whole final.
Yeah.
Look, I love Nurys. There's a 5% chance Colleen could have won that elimination. Maybe even bigger than that. Maybe even bigger than that. Colleen was pretty good in this final, I'll be honest, as a whole. I'm glad Mariah was there because Nurys was beating her in a puzzle any day of the week. She does so, and after the elimination, Mariah says, "I'm going to come back bigger, like physically stronger." And I'm like, I don't know if you.
That's your problem.
That's not your problem, Mariah. Like, did you watch these puzzles that that were coming up? And I mean, it makes sense why she doesn't realize that. I think Mariah might be done with this. I mean, like, I think the franchise might be done with Mariah from this moment on. I don't see her on another season unless it's specifically to be Johnny Banana's partner on an next season.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. But I think Johnny would be making sure production gave him a different partner.
Maybe, but I also feel like he likes to, like, shame people. So I feel like he would take every advantage to, like, make her look dumb while his partner.
I think he would want to win more, though. And I think that he has better potential partners he could win with that would be better than her.
Like Angela, yeah.
Like Morgan, like Ashley, like Nany again.
Well, Morgan said she never would. Ashley's, for all account, banned.
Hannah Teeter, you never know.
Yeah, oh God. She should just save face and never even interact with anything bananas related.
Yeah.
So
the show.
I will say this elimination was cool. Like, I would have liked to try it myself, but it was not aesthetically something that I was like, oh, I'm so into this. So they had to put 6 bricks into a box with a small opening. And I thought it'd be easy, but it did look more challenging than my perception.
Yeah, it was just a pretty simple puzzle.
Have you guys ever seen that TikTok where it's a bunch of shapes and they have to put shapes through a hole and the person is just putting every single shape through a square hole?
I saw it today. Funny enough. It's like, what's your contribution to society? And this girl reposted her TikTok of that. So yes.
That's all I could think while watching this elimination, because it was just like, just put the boxes in the thing. It's harder than that, but again, not the greatest elimination. Congratulations to Mariah for being part of Nurys's resume. That was really her contribution to this season as a whole, especially after we didn't get any resolution with the James stuff. At points in the season, I was rooting for Mariah. She just underwhelmed completely.
She's so robotic too. Like, there's something about even the way she talks, like talking to TJ after she lost and like in her confessional, she's just so stiff as a human.
My favorite part of her ending confessional was, I'm going to come back bigger and better. And she's like, well, not like bigger like this, as if we thought that's what she meant. It's like, girl, you're not the brightest.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if she had more moments like that, I think I'd like her more, because it would give like Jenna, like, just so dumb it's funny. Mm-hmm. Like, if she had more moments like that on screen, I would like her so much more.
Yeah.
She's gone, though, potentially forever. It was nice to have you. Hope you enjoyed your time and your Under Armour swag. We move on, though, to a nighttime portion where the players have to stay up all night by the water, which I'll say this. some of these like nighttime stay up all night, that would kill me in the final because it just looks so cold with the water coming in, splashing in on them, and like the clothes they were wearing just didn't look like that great for a nighttime stayover. They had to also do a thing where they put tiles through a little fence, like a task. Whoever finished first got a pillow. Whoever finished second got a blanket. Second got a pillow, and third got a chair. And if you finish first, you give your opponent more tiles. I'm just talking just to talk. I don't know what I'm doing here.
But they couldn't sleep. That part.
Yeah. So here's my take, and I'm backtracking just a hair. The first day of the daily the final did not matter, just for the elimination. Okay, that's done, which is great for Nurys and such. What did this challenge matter in the end? Like the fifth place person wasn't penalized. They just had to take out possibly more tiles, and getting a pillow, blanket, or chair is great. But if you can't sleep, I'd rather be uncomfortable.
I think it was just making someone more miserable. Like it really just was like you get less rest. So yeah, I agree. I wish that they could have gone to sleep once they finished, and I wish they could have started in the order that they finished the next day. That would have made it make more sense, because then I think you would have seen Nurys put all her tiles on Emmanuel instead of like divvying them up.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's like an actual advantage to targeting someone. But alas, Nurys did kill it. She killed this portion of the final and finished way before everyone else.
Do they think about the finals until like the day before?
No. I mean,
like I know they go and scope out a location even before they film. You got to have something brewing in your head. Have to.
If you're gonna make people stay up all night, can we at least make it entertaining like Final Reckoning was? Like give them some booze or like something silly. Like that's one of my favorite final moments ever, when they were just like drinking wine and heckling each other. Like they just don't care. And it made my skin crawl seeing Nurys like trying to keep warm next to Emmanuel.
I know. I was like, whoa. I mean, I get it, but
No, you gotta do what you gotta do, but gross.
I think even Corey at one point said, like, I don't even care about laying down because, like, moving these tiles at least gives me something to do to keep myself awake. So I agree, like, I don't even know if there was an advantage because once you get in that position, you're just cold and you're not moving at all. That just feels like torture. Day one of the final did not matter. It was just a means to eliminate two more people from the game. Jay and Mariah are out. Day two of the final, I'm gonna be honest, I liked it a lot. If we're talking about this as just a pure final, I actually liked it a lot because was it the most fairly formatted? Probably not. Was it very repetitive to stuff we've seen in eliminations and daily challenges? Yes. But at one point in time, I thought almost everyone was going to win.
I kind of like the repetition in the final of stuff we've seen in eliminations. I like calling back to stuff from earlier in the season because it makes it feel like things do matter. Like there is a story, there is a purpose. So I didn't hate especially that 5 puzzle that mimicked our last few eliminations in our, what was it? Conquest phase. Mm-hmm. I liked that element of it. And I agree, Alan. I think that last part of it, the fact that anyone could have won, it was pretty equal. And I think that's what made Emmanuel winning so hard for me to stomach, because I really don't think it was completely his. And just because there was a swimming element doesn't mean it's not fair, because like I hope Nurys learns how to swim in the off season. And so that isn't if you don't know how to swim, that's just something you're bringing into the challenge knowing that could screw you over.
For sure. I did say to Zoe before you recorded this, though, when TJ said it was an 1,800 meter swim, I don't believe that. That is a long distance to swim. People, like, that's not something the average person could do. And I'm not saying these people are average, but if you can't swim like Nurys, 1,800 meters is insane. That's over a mile.
I also think there would have been a way bigger gap between Nurys and I mean, I don't know how bad of a swimmer Berna is, but like Nerys and Emmanuel certainly, like, I don't understand why there wouldn't be such a massive gap if the swimming portion was that long. I don't think it was that long either. There's no way.
I think they added a 0. I think it was a 200-meter swim.
Yeah.
I don't think because on the board it said 2,000 meters. I think it was a
Mm.
200-meter swim because there's just no way in hell Nerys is swimming like 2,000 meters. For anyone who doesn't know at home, 2,000 meters, that's 20 back and forths in an Olympic-sized pool. That's takes a long fucking time in open water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, add in the current and you're in open water, like that is enough to like make you exhausted.
I mean, it's more than a mile.
Yeah. 1.25 if it was 2,000. So yeah, like that's nuts. And I hate we're even giving light to this because the swim didn't matter that much. They
Yep.
swam, they ran up, they chugged one of TJ's juices or energy drinks, which okay. And then they all had to wait to rappel down the mountain. And sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but that's how it felt to me as a viewer. Like, okay, so this was filler?
Yeah, because they had to wait for everyone. And again, I think maybe this is them just trying to equalize it. But like, then why wouldn't you just take your sweet time if that was the case? Because Emmanuel like could have just gassed himself out by hauling ass through that portion. And I know they said something about time being stopped, and then they restarted them in order, but it wasn't like
It didn't matter in the end. Yeah.
No, it didn't matter.
Can we talk about individual people, Alan? I know we've got like kind of a structure ahead of us, but
yeah, no, for sure. They jump into it. Who do you want to talk about right now?
well, I want to talk about Berna with the drink.
God, for someone who talks about how tough her life is, you would think Berna would be ready to face a little bit of adversity, but a breeze hits her way and she just fucking folds.
I am a big fan of if someone wants to quit, you let them quit. And let TJ shame you and say you were not cut out for the season. You took somebody's spot. He should have said to Berna right then and there. We'll talk about somebody else here in a second too. If only the top 3 people can get money and someone is expressing in the final, I want to quit, they should have said, okay, see you, Berna. Walk back to the dock. We'll get a little boat to pick you up. And they should have showed it all.
You know what? I think the most ridiculous part about all of it is I don't think at any point she was going to quit. I think she just needed attention. I think she was going to do it the entire time. I think she just needed to cry about it.
I agree, Zoe. I think
she miraculously chugs it. And she's ready to go.
I would have been grinding my teeth if I was one of those other competitors sitting there listening to her blubber about that drink. Give me a goddamn break.
Yeah.
There was they then had like the little tangram portion where you had 15 minutes. You timed out after a certain amount of time. And I remember when they first brought that up, I was like, I hope there's not a timeout portion. I hope Nerys solves it, and they're all there for an hour. Nerys didn't solve it. She didn't solve it. And thank God for the timeout portion.
Thank God.
Well, before we say that though, can we please talk about them rappelling down the mountain?
Oh yes.
Yes.
So I'm scared of heights as well, like deathly, horribly. But I could have done that with ease. The hardest part was just going off the platform. It wasn't even really a cliff. It was just a really steep hill.
Yeah, you can just slide down on your ass.
Right. And then being like, I'd rather go backwards. Going forwards is better. Like, even if your rope did fail, like you could catch yourself on something and man, like it just, Corey pissed me off. The dramatics after you just had all these confessionals. I'm going to prove myself. I'm stronger than people believe. I'm doing this for whatever. I did have to laugh at TJ, honestly, almost pushing him off the platform, being like, look, and he's like, do not push me. Fair. TJ, you really shouldn't push people that close to the edge. But like, I would have kicked Berna out 10 minutes before, and I would have said, okay, Corey, you're out. Colleen, Nerys, Emmanuel, this is your game. Go for it.
I think it was the first time I've seen TJ take pity on someone in one of those moments, though, because I think there was something that made him so uncomfortable about this giant hulk of a man blubbering about having to walk down a hill.
Right.
That's literally what he was doing. He was attached to a rope. All he had to do was walk down a hill. Like, it was... That's it.
And I know that people might listen and comment, be like, it's easier to say from your couch or your table or whatever. This is true, but it's also for a lot of money. And it also was not that bad once you saw it in action.
I
If
mean,
anything, no, I'll go first.
I've like, whatever. I've done Spartan races where I've had to run down steep hills before. And I've gone like cliff jumping where I've jumped off of things. So like that in and of itself gives me the right to say Corey was walking down a hill and I'm going to talk some shit about it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
roller coaster, like.
I was gonna say, if anything, if there was any danger in this rappel, it was Corey to the other women as he was knocking them down, coming down. It actually had me cackling. I'm not gonna lie. From this and then last week, Corey like just like profusely vomiting as loud as possible. He's such a mess sometimes. And TJ took pity on him, which was like actually kind of cute compared to like when Berna was complaining. TJ was just like, shut the fuck up. Like TJ can't stand Berna.
It was really funny to me to watch him like give Corey this pep talk because I can't remember any other moment where he's done something like that for someone. But I was with you, Luke. I was like, go home. If you can't do this, this is ridiculous. Like,
well, yeah, and never come back either. Like, I'm sorry, Berna, you do Survivor Turkey, which films forever. She's been gone since December 21st filming that. I can't imagine she's been eating delicacies on Survivor.
she just needed attention. I can't with that.
Yeah, I don't think that was Corey's case because I almost said that it was. I think he legitimately was scared, and I will give him that. But you got to push that fear aside.
Yeah, he was definitely terrified. I don't think it was reasonable, but he was.
Mm-hmm. Well, flashing forward to the Tanagram, like you were talking about, Alan, I was disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, we were all hoping this was the moment where Nurys would take the lead, be the puzzle queen that she is. Even everyone else around her is like, oh, I have to really speed up because Nurys is the puzzle queen. Emmanuel solves it. Colleen solves it. Nurys, Corey, timeout. And if Berna didn't have a timeout, she would have been there, like, still today.
It's disappointing. I feel like Nurys has done really well when she's been really mad. She wasn't here, but also like it wasn't a difficult Tanagram. And y'all can't say we're not equal opportunists here because she's going to get some hate too. Like that was kind of simple. To time out on that, it was disappointing. And I get the pressure of the moment. I need to conceptualize pressure of the moment, all those things. But from a viewer standpoint,
I thought if anything, it made me think Emmanuel was maybe a little bit smarter than I thought he was. And Colleen, I was impressed with, especially because at this point, they're all exhausted from not sleeping and doing whatever they'd done the day before. But yeah, I was disappointed in her performance specifically. Especially because I was so emotionally wrapped up in rooting for her. So like when you're really rooting for someone and they don't come through on something you think they should be able to do, it's more devastating.
Yeah, and Emmanuel has his history. He got second on Survivor Romania. I don't know how long that filmed for, but it is longer than the 39 days that used to be what Survivor was here. It's 26 now, of course, but like sleep deprivation, not a lot of food. I don't think that phases him.
Mm.
It was clear at this point that he was going to win to me.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, he's got this in him.
He is good at puzzles too. Like on Spy Lies and Allies, I remember him solving some puzzles for him and Casey. And he was up 2-0 on Devin in that puzzle elimination before Devin made his little comeback. So he's not a dumb guy at all. And Nurys, this is disappointing. I mean, like, if we want to sum up where Nurys lost the final, it's kind of right here because this was such a big point for her to take a potential lead. Like, obviously the swim hurts, but we know she's a bad swimmer. If there was a place for her to capitalize, it was moments like this and then something later on as well.
Yeah.
They then move on, and there's a little diving portion, which again, Nurys, tough look when you're not a great swimmer. They had to dive underwater, memorize a bunch of names on a board, a bunch of former challenge champions, and cool homage Saw some names.
I saw some names too.
Ooh, yeah. Not great names. Some good ones too. Emmanuel crushes this. Colleen, who was in second place, gets set back massively as she mixes up two names. Can't figure out where she made the mistake. Corey and Nurys actually play the very smart move of like, let's team up and work on this together right now to catch up, because if not, Emmanuel is 80 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, that's one of their best moves in the final, frankly.
I was initially mad. And then after a split second, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I get it.
No, you got to do what you got to do.
And they both had the belief they could beat each other.
Yeah, which fair on both accounts.
Right.
And then Colleen, when she finally does get it, her and Berna don't work together. She just lets Berna copy her.
Hey, Berna did find the one thing that like Colleen was missing at least. So Colleen might have been at that board for forever because they didn't have a timeout on that portion, because it seemed like Colleen was there for a long ass time.
It also seems like in these finals, oftentimes they don't actually tell them the timeout. They just tell them when they think it's time for them to time out, because you could tell on their faces at the Tanagram, they're like, oh, so we get to go?
I think they said it was only 15 minutes on the Tangram. I think I remember them saying that, which didn't feel like a long time, but hey, it worked out in favor of who I was rooting for. So
yeah.
We then get to the portion of the final where it's the same thing as the eliminations, except you got to get 5 flags. One portion was a Sudoku. One portion was you had to smash a barrel with a hammer. That was incredibly easy and took not much time at all. Another portion where you had to do the simple board where you have to sort all the colors into their own rows. You then had to do a balance puzzle like we saw Nurys do in her elimination against Horacio and Kyland, except this one looked much harder. And what was the 5th one? Math.
Was it work?
Okay. Gives you like a math. There was a bunch of circles.
Count the
where
circles.
You had to count the circles and multiply and then subtract or something like that. 5 portions. Emmanuel gets there first. He attempts Sudoku, and that Sudoku is what ultimately took a lot of time for almost everyone in the final. It looked harder than a normal Sudoku, like they didn't give them as much numbers as possible. And I noticed as well, they gave them a bunch of extra numbers too. So
well, that really shouldn't matter though.
If you accidentally have 10 nines on the board, if you only have as many nines as can be on the board, then you're not going to accidentally put an extra 9 on the board.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I remember looking at it when someone started. I only know this because I went to do a medium Sudoku the other day, and it was usually 3 things in each line. So like 3 things in each line, 3 things in each box. And it looked like they had a few more than that. So I think that those would have been categorized as an easy Sudoku.
I'll be real with you. The Sudokus they usually do on this show are very, very easy. This one was a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I think one line I saw had 5 or maybe 6 things in it to start. And I was like, okay, well.
Start there. Yeah. This was where Nurys could have and should have caught up.
Yeah, I think she was fried. I think she was frazzled. I think playing from because she did take a lead, I was hoping that would like lock her in a little bit. But yeah, she got killed by the Sudoku there, which was disappointing because this was the moment where I was like, she absolutely could have won this final. Like at this point, this was anybody's game. Anybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I said to Zoe before this, it felt like none of the final mattered before this, which, I mean, it did, I guess, I don't know. Like, had Nurys gotten there 25 minutes earlier, it would have been a different outcome. So it did matter, but it just felt like you just said, it was equal for everybody. Anybody could have, like, rose from the ashes, and Nurys had the experience with these types of events just from the weeks prior. And I get she's fried. It doesn't make me not Nurys Nation. I still am. But to what Zoe said at the beginning of this podcast, it made me really wish we had a male and female champ for a season dedicated to getting a new champion. Why not two?
I'm sad. I mean, like, I just really wanted to see her solve that Sudoku, take the win, and just really just become the champion that we see in her. I mean, she deserves a title. Just flat out simple. We should just have a male and a female winner. It's not rocket science.
If this is a reasonable season where Challenge Productions not being stupid, she is a champ, right? Like, she's the female winner of this season. It's a bummer.
Can I tell you guys about one nightmare though I had as this final was going that I began to think about? Nurys solving her Sudoku first, Emmanuel solving the Sudoku after her, and Emmanuel sprinting down the finish line and beating her in a dead sprint to the end. Because I was like, I kept thinking that was gonna happen, and like my stomach was churning.
I would have thrown up.
TJ would have taken that finish flag and started running towards Nurys.
Yeah, I would have actually thrown up, I think. Because when you started saying that, it made me kind of queasy thinking about that possibility.
This entire outcome has made me queasy. Jumping ahead just a second, but like at the very end of the episode, they like take the pictures of the champs that came to season and like immerse. Here comes Emmanuel, and it's like, he doesn't even fit there for me.
Give him the Jenny West treatment, truly. If production could do anything, I would beg of them to do that.
Let's talk about all the finalists, though. Okay. Fifth place, Berna. Throughout this final, she was not very good unless she had a male partner. Other than that, she pretended to be hurt. She pretended to be going through... she wasn't pretending to be hurt. She probably is hurt, but she was just exaggerating a lot of stuff going on. The only moment I respected her during this whole final was when she cheated off Colleen Sudoku, which I thought was... Yeah, and then lied about it. Colleen, the first person to solve the Sudoku, took her a long time. She was there for probably over an hour, and Berna's just been copying her the whole time. When Berna gets the check and it's solved, Colleen literally turns around, like she's on the balance beam. She like turns around on the balance beam. It's like, did you copy off me?
And Berna's like, oh no. It's like, Berna, you would still be solving that Sudoku right now.
Yeah.
But I respect the move. If you're trying to win a final, and that's what you do. That's how you play like a champion. Like if there's no penalty against cheating, you cheat.
Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? I think it was hilarious that she lied about it, though.
I have no words about Berna in this final, and I know that's like what I'm supposed to be doing right now is providing the words.
I do think it's so fitting, though, that the two people who wanted to quit didn't get any money.
I agree.
That is poetic justice right there. And the two people who wanted to quit over fucking nothing. Like...
it's like,
Look, I wouldn't have been mad if Corey won. I'm going to be real. I actually wouldn't. And at one point in time, I thought Corey was actually going to win because he was the first person to grab 4 of his plaques. He had the momentum. It looked great. And why I don't feel it looked great until this moment happened where I didn't feel bad about his heights thing once I saw him try to get on a balance beam because it's very clear this dude has some deep issues going on. Like, he could not walk on a simple kindergarten balance beam that everyone else was sprinting across.
What is wrong with him? Why couldn't he do that? He is one of the goofiest people because, like, it's so weird that he can look so impressive in some things and then he couldn't do that. Like, him not being able to do that balance beam is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a final. Truly. It's, like, not quite as funny as Kenny carrying Wes up a mountain, but, like, that could potentially be your challenge legacy. If you never make a final again, you were defeated by a balance beam.
You could have had 30 grand in your pocket, but you couldn't cross a balance beam.
That his legs, he could literally do it in 2 strides.
He could have maybe even had 60 grand. Like, he spent so much time with the balance beam, not once, but twice. Like, he was behind it for like a long time. Emmanuel completed a whole portion and then just sprinted by him at like getting across, and he was just perplexed. It was, I can't believe this happened. This was one of the craziest collapses in challenge history because he had the lead. He had a pretty sizable lead in the final and could have won. And a balance beam takes him out. A balance beam.
It's so embarrassing.
Hey, I actually wouldn't have minded a Corey win because we haven't had a Black MTV like challenge champion since Nehemiah on the Gauntlet 3, like for a male. So that would have been cool. He's also active on social media and actually like interacts with fans. Comparing to Emmanuel, Corey's a much better winner. Like he would have been.
Yeah, he was second for me despite his shortcomings.
Have we ever had a gay man win the challenge?
Tyler.
Oh, I always forget about Tyler.
And then if we're talking like, I don't know what Frank is these days. Is he bi or is he gay?
I was just talking about Frank too.
He's married to a man, so he is definitely a queer person in that respect.
Because I remember on his Real World, he said he was bi, but I think he might be gay. I don't know. Whatever. Frank's a beast. Frank's an elite competitor. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time. So a Corey win, I wouldn't have actually minded compared to Emmanuel because Corey is someone who I think fits in well with the franchise in comparison.
I think he has a story also. I think just like he actually has a story. He has a personality. He might do some things that are questionable or shady or catty, frankly, sometimes, but he at least, again, has a personality. He is one of the 2 people in this final that has a personality. Well, Berna has a personality, but it's just the worst.
He's also one of 2 people in this final. You can go back and watch their original show, which I think matters. Not that I want to watch his original show, but if I really wanted to like figure more out about him, it's there.
Was he that weird, like 12
Dates of Christmas? Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'll backtrack. I have watched some of Emmanuel's Survivor season. It's just not in English. So like I clicked off that YouTube video really quick. Which I don't expect it to be in English, by the way. I'm not saying that, but like it's not something I would view for pleasure and be like, oh, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a hard sell.
Yeah, Corey blew it. Just plain and simple. He had a real shot to win. Blew it right there. Didn't even come in second. Didn't even come in third. Third place, though, was Colleen. And Colleen, besides when she got mixed up at the memorization board, Colleen crushed day 2 of the final, like if we're being real. Because she was good in the swim. She solved the tangram. And she was the first person to solve the Sudoku. It almost looked like she was going to pull off one of like the great comeback because she went from 0 flags to 4 flags real quick and had all the momentum.
She was the only one on Emmanuel's tail most of the day until they got to that 5 puzzle portion. She really crushed it. I still don't care about her, but like she really did a great job in this final. Way better, especially when my expectations for her were really low.
Well, and props to her because on paper, she is the 3rd girl eliminated. Pahoy, Jessica. I even thought Jessica would stay longer than Colleen. I thought she'd be the 2nd one out. She was smart to align with the ride or die girls. Probably didn't have a choice, but like they saw a commonality and she wrote it out till it was not convenient. Like she wasn't one of the stragglers who was like, I still want to be loyal. I still want to make this big move. She just went with it, her and Corey both, and it served them really well. I never want to see her again. Like she had that confessional at the end that was like, next time I'll come back and I'll be a challenge champion. Wrong. There will be no next time. There will not be. You don't have a rival. At best, your ex is Emmanuel, but he also hooked up with interesting girls. Sorry. Enjoy your 30K. that's taxed. Enjoy your $17K. It might not be taxed for her though. Because I know that like when Evan used to win in Canada, like he wasn't taxed on it. They have different tax laws and he got the full thing.
What about when Ashley moved to South
Las
America?
Vegas. Well, when Ashley moves to Las Vegas, there's not a I forget what she said. I watched it on live one time. Yeah. But she moved to South America after she had won. I think just to preserve money because it's so cheap to live there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if anyone ever wins the challenge, they should move to Vegas for a short period of time?
Yeah. There's this big conspiracy that that's why Evan won a seasons ago. Like they all threw it to him because they were like, hell, we'll just split it because it's more money anyways. Do you remember what season that is, Alan?
Yeah, Duel 2, the Brad, Mark, Evan final. Mark Long was always the king of like, hey, let's all make deals so that we all get paid out type stuff. Like Mark Long gave up his spot in a final to someone, but the three winners like, okay, but you're all gonna cut me a check, right? So yeah.
Which fun fact, side note, but it's relevant. We've discussed her a few times. I watched Darrell's home turf last night, and he says that after Amber B won Double Agents, she sent him some money. And he's like, I don't want it. And she's like, no, you were my partner all season. This could not have been possible without you. I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
Huh. That's nice. That's really nice.
Hmm.
I would actually look. I think more highly of Amber B now. I was actually going to compare Colleen to Amber B now because, like, similar to her, it's one of those things where before the Double Agents final, Amber B had never performed really well in anything. Like, yes, she went to those 2 eliminations, but they were hall brawls against tiny girls. This was far and away the best performance of Colleen's challenge career, which it's awesome that it happens in a final. Like, good for you. But it is also a little bit like a little too late type situation where it's like if she had done more and built up to this moment, I would think Colleen's a total beast. I just don't really think much.
I think she's smart, and that's where I'll leave it. She had a great second day. I could not take that from her, but like you're right. What we saw the first 18 episodes, nothing sold me.
Yeah, and she comes in third with Nurys giving us a B- performance and Corey being defeated by a playground balance beam. So like she did very well, but again, the field of competitors was not super impressive.
Yeah.
Nurys comes in second, and it's the Sudoku, it's the Tangram, and it's all the swimming. She's not a perfect competitor, and she didn't dominate what her strengths are supposed to be. Even then, she still somehow came in second, as always said, like a B- performance. Even then, that's kind of generous, I would say.
So.
Would have been cool to see her win.
Yeah, and she should be a champ right now if the challenge isn't fumbling the bag for no reason at all. Nurys is a champ.
And I feel like they only did it this season because the final prize money was so low. Once those people are there, they will compete for it anyways. Like
also, whatever they could have earned all together without losing money,
$500K, yeah.
Then the winners get $225 each.
Right.
And then second place people can split 50 each.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah. Like the biggest flaw was that there were not opportunities to earn that money back because that section of the game wherever the champs came in, like, yeah, you wanted to take people out that were big and strong, but you also want to preserve your money, so you can't throw a weak person in either. Like,
anytime that they lost money, there should have been opportunities to earn it back. I don't like the idea of them having to earn the final prize pot at all. I think if anything, they should be able to add to it or have individual bank accounts for good performances. It's silly. It didn't add anything to the game by taking their money away.
It just allowed them to say, okay, we just saved $150,000 this season. We can add it to the prize pot next season, maybe. And it won't. Next season will be $1 million, I'm sure, which is great. Sure. But And there better be 2 winners next season, or I will absolutely riot. And by that, I mean I'll complain on Twitter. But there has to be 2. Because Nurys should be a champ. And I understand the naysayers may say, well, this was a season of people who had never won. Like, it makes sense that maybe just one came out on top. No, this is not a spinoff. This is season 39. You dedicated a whole season to this. I've said it a million times before. I'm beating a dead horse. Ninja Natalie should be a champ. I hate her. There's no reason that she finished World of Worlds 1 and did not come out a champ. I despise her. She deserved that. She deserved money.
Zach Nichols deserves to be a winner of Vendettas. I'm just anti-solo winner across the board. Like, I can be very inconsistent and hypocritical when it comes to my favorites or my least favorites, but I am always going to say it's so silly to only have one winner. And it takes something away from the viewers. Like, there should always be a male winner and a female winner every single time.
And to also just throw this in there, All-Stars won. Yes is a nice guy, sure. Points-wise, Kellyanne and John A finished together. I'm sure they both would have loved to have split second or first place as opposed to nothing. Or even if it was just based on points plus the time at the tiebreaker, Kellyanne would have a championship. Kellyanne is often overlooked, I think. Maybe not recently, because when we cover All-Stars, like we hype her up despite her being crazy. But like, this is somebody who's put their heart and soul into a lot of these seasons and has never came out on top. God, I hope she's on 40.
Kellyanne's one of the best female competitors to never win.
We hype her up because she's crazy, because she's amazing. Like, we didn't talk about that global champ. We weren't podcasting about that global championship show. She held her own. Like, she was like one of the biggest personalities amongst all those champions.
She was so good. And I see people complain like, that's a one-time watch for me. It is for me now, but this summer I could see myself rewatching because her and Jody actually gave me something I was not expecting.
Oh no, that season was terrible. I don't want to watch it again, but Kellyanne was great on it. I agree. I'll agree with that. But that season was rough.
She's so crap, and she's a very good competitor. But yeah, I'm really disappointed we can't call Nurys a champ after this season. I think it's disrespectful.
Yeah, and it limits her possibility of being a champ again.
Yeah.
Because if 40 is this big culminating season like we've heard the rumors about, I think it's going to be, like, duh. Even if she's on it, like, I can't see her winning against Cara, Laurel, Emily Schramm, Tori. And I know that people are like, then she shouldn't be a champ. It's all within the circumstance of the game. It's like when people win Survivor, Michelle even, and people are like, well, they only won because of this and whatever. It doesn't matter. It was the constraint of the game. Chris Underwood, who just won USA 2, he got bashed for his Survivor game because he wasn't in it most of the time. It was the constraints of the game. That's what it means. And you could argue, too, the constraint of this game was there was just one winner, but that sucks.
And Nurys is going to get targeted next season like she won this season because everyone saw her just be an absolute beast, be the top female. So she has the target on her without the title of champion, and it sucks.
I hate it here.
Plus, she said she wasn't doing 40. I don't believe it, but
She's doing 40. She's got to do 40.
Anybody asked to do 40 and not get off this should say yes. Like, if you're one of these new people, because the longevity of this show is not guaranteed, but if it is, you want to be a name that's concurrent, you say yes.
I mean, if they ever start teasing some sort of exit season again, her and Horacio need to break up on social media. I'm not saying break up for real, but if someone get this message to Nurys, if there's ever rumors of an exit season, if production ever calls you about an exit season, you and Horacio are broken up, okay?
And then the first day of filming, be like, I think I love you still. Let's rekindle, and then just rock out.
Exactly.
I think the Galaxy Brain move. No, it's you go Nancy Kerrigan, Tori Deal's leg, boom, break Tori Deal's leg, get Jordan as a partner, get Horacio on the season. Now you have Horacio as your number one ally. You know, like when Cam and Leroy would have Leroy as their number one ally, and then you get Jordan as a partner. Oh, you're unstoppable. You win. You win at that point.
They could stretch Horacio with Laurel.
Ooh.
Jordan, Nurys, Horacio, Laurel.
Now you just might lose to Horacio and Laurel, though.
Yeah, that's
well,
what I'm saying.
I have, well, Laurel's not a good partner. I'll just say that. I love Laurel. She's so great for the game. She could be on every single season. Do you think that her and Jack had a good partnership despite being best friends?
I don't think she was the reason her and Jack.
That's true.
Well.
That's true. This is true. I think Laurel thrives on her own.
But you don't think that Laurel would kill it with Jordan as a partner?
Oh, for sure. Here's my thing, though. I'm being too specific, and I'll just say it because I've already rambled. Her with Horacio would not take charge. She would want him to have a say in some aspect. He would not. It would piss her off. Their dynamic just would not work well.
Yeah, her other options for an next season are Jordan and CT.
I don't even think they would need to talk. I don't even think her and Horacio would need to talk during a daily challenge. They would just both be in the same wavelength of competitors and would just knock shit down like at the athletes they are. Also, Laurel, great partner. I mean, her and Kenny dominated freshman team.
Yes, but also like how many years ago was that? I think Laurel has gotten more crass like Kellyanne with age. And I'm not hating on Laurel. I love Laurel, but like she knows what she wants. She knows how she operates.
Yeah. So that's why Emmanuel won this season, because we already talked about Emmanuel at this point. I mean, like he dominated this final from like start to finish, day 1 to day 2. Never at any point did he really struggle except for the Sudoku, but the Sudoku gave everyone issues because when he wasn't doing the Sudoku, he speed ran throughout the entire course.
Yeah, he killed it. Whatever.
I want to talk about this because and I kind of realized it after the fact, but a lot of the people who got eliminated before this final, I think could have won, including. So I think there's some obvious names. I think Michelle could have actually won this final because it's swimming and it's puzzles and it's not that intense, like the balance beam type stuff. The lift up the thing, the balance puzzle. That's very Survivor-esque. She's won a Survivor challenge like that before, and man, Michelle played a really good game because she could have won this fucking final, and that's crazy to think about.
Absolutely.
That makes my heart hurt. I obviously wanted Nurys to win above her, but that would have been a perfect game, in my opinion.
Jay could have won this final if he isn't eliminated very easily.
Yeah, I don't know how he is with Sudoku. I think that's what it would have came down to, but I think he could have won. I think Kylan could have won this final. I don't know about Horacio. I don't think he's as strong with puzzles.
I think he could have done these puzzles, though.
Yeah. Okay.
He did the Sudoku against Zara, and I think he finished it first.
Yeah, Zara could have been a contender in terms of like just the pace, but the puzzles probably would have gotten her. Dare I throw out a curveball here? I think Melissa could have done quite all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even talking about Melissa because she's been gone for
far gone.
She's so far gone that it's not even like the concept of even making it to the final just isn't there because like there were other people like they were like 2 episodes away from the final, you know.
Yeah, Ed absolutely could have won this final very easily.
Raven definitely could not have.
No, she could use the money. So I think that it's kind of crazy that so many people could have just like won this final, and then what we got was Emmanuel, and so many other options would have made me so much more happy. It sucks. I would have been happy for Ed because at least he would have had a dumb smile on his face, and he's actually like a beast competitor to where like I wouldn't be able to hate it as much.
I'm gonna say something crazy. I think I would have even enjoyed Jay winning it more because it would have given me more of an emotional reaction. Like I would have hated it more instead of being indifferent about it. Like
it would have been this, yeah.
Yeah, I could have like raged about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I said that last week too. Like nobody would have wanted that, but like if it elicits a reaction, heck yeah. I don't know. My brain just went to Camilla winning Dirty 30. That did elicit a reaction, but a bad one. That was bad.
Well, TJ won Dirty 30. You didn't see the reunion? He pulled the thing. Oh, TJ, you're the winner of Dirty 30.
Yeah, I think when you have like 5 or 6 names that very reasonably could have won this final, it makes you just really wish the competitor pool had been more competitive. It would have been a lot more fun to watch.
This season, I feel like I speak for all of us when I say that we enjoyed it. But I hope that it is the last nail in a coffin that was Total Madness to now, and maybe Double Agents to now. Total Madness was okay, just the ending was very strange, and the winner sucked. But every season after that has just started really strong but fell flat. And we've had seasons that were good all the way through.
I think they also are dragging it out a little. I think that we need to go back to a male and a female getting eliminated every week. I don't think the seasons need to be as long. I think there's so many elements I want to see as part of this game, but I don't think we need to be dragging this out for 19 weeks. I think you can cut off 6 and people will still be engaged.
Yeah. Well, like I said weeks ago that they were hinting that maybe season 40 is going to have 40 competitors. That opens the door to really have 2 people leave each week and it's still like be spicy. And I think back to USA 2, which I don't remember if we covered or not because who remembers that? They showed for the first 3 weeks 2 episodes at a time, which wouldn't make sense for MTV, but that had me so invested in that season because it was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I watched it just Sunday, but now it comes on tomorrow. Like I really felt like that season was going really well for me as a viewer. Whereas this, we've been talking about it since October.
Yeah. I was
It's
even
February.
No, look, I remember when USA 2 was happening, when they were doing the 2 episodes a week thing. I tweeted like, this show is moving at such a fast pace that I'm not having time to think about whether it sucks or not. And it's just like, because these episodes drag out and there's nobody being eliminated. Like we went a whole 4 or 5 weeks with nobody getting eliminated, and so the season was really dragging because we're just all seeing the same faces.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest downfalls this season. Like having CT show for 5 minutes, Laurel for 5 minutes didn't save the episode.
No.
I really want 40 to be good, but I'm scared because good to us is not good to them.
That's for damn sure.
Let's wrap this up. Let's talk about winners and losers for the season. I think the very clear, obvious winner of this season, is Nurys. Female MVP, far and away, just went from rotation player to just absolute star of the show. When we look back at this season in 10 years, people are going to know season 39 as the Nurys season. So kudos to her.
And if it's not the Nurys season, I think you're calling it a Kyland Horacio season. In terms of heroes.
Yeah, which even in that respect encompasses her. Also, I'll have to double check, but do you think she got at least 8 confessionals this episode?
Oh, for sure.
Then she broke the record for the most confessionals of all time on a season. Like that says something. And if she didn't, then Michelle has it. So,
which is crazy.
It's crazy because this had the potential to be the Jay and Michelle season. If they could have lasted a couple more episodes, it really could have been their season. And maybe editing would have made Kyland Horacio and Nurys not such the good guys. I'm not sure how they could have done that, to be honest, because they were downtrodden. But yeah, I think that makes Jay and Michelle kind of the losers of this season.
I would still count Michelle as a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that she's such an incomplete competitor in terms of the challenge that she just got bad luck with that purge. I would still consider her a winner of the season, even if fans are tearing through her comment sections and DMs and all sorts of craziness.
I mean, she eliminated Cara, or she beat Cara, I should say, on Cara's return.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is not a spoiler, but like Cara had already filmed All Stars 4 like 7 months prior. But, you know, this was her return, and that's what we got. And I think I'll backtrack because I love to backtrack because I'm wishy-washy. I can see how she's not the loser because she kept her dignity intact, unlike Jay.
Yeah. think Jay's edit and his persona on the season make him a big fat loser on top of his receding hairline.
I agree.
I think another big loser from this season's Olivia.
Oh, yeah. If not the biggest loser. I'm so serious. I think Alan said it last week or the week before. She really messed up in terms of like, do you want to keep doing these shows? Because if so, you didn't bring much. You couldn't stand in it. You wanted to play everybody's best friend. You looked insecure.
And I would go as far as to say that I think Olivia was the female MVP of Ride or Dies.
Yeah.
So when you compare that as a rookie season to where she is now, to where I don't even know if I want to see her on another season of the show, that's such a big come down when this was supposed to be her season to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah. And I feel like when you lose casual viewers, like the Facebook commenters, you've really lost. Because she had them. She had Twitter and Facebook, but like once the Nerys cross happened, she lost them.
She had Facebook for such a long time too. Like even before the turn, like when we kind of started turning on Olivia, being like she's kind of just judging her friends, they were still very pro Olivia, and then now it's just they're going off her side.
Well, and her stuff that she's done postseason and trying to like undermine her relationship with Horacio while she was crying about it in her confessionals during the season, like it's her inconsistency across the board that makes her a big loser. Like no one's rooting for her.
I just fear that if she is on 40, a lot of the vets that were on Ride or Dies that would possibly be on 40 with her have her back. I think she's made some friendships outside of the show as well that could carry over into 40. So we could get another season of just her like coasting and being buddy and not making hard decisions.
I think she'll be able to coast to a point, but I think that she's not going to be high on people's list when it comes down to it. I think she can coast in the beginning, but I don't think she's going to have an easy ride for long.
Yeah.
I just think she's unimportant. It doesn't even matter how far she gets. I just don't think she's important to the franchise right now. Because she's not going to completely beef with Nerys and dive in and get dirty, so it doesn't matter. My male MVP though for the season, and I mentioned him already. It's Kyland, because he had his showmatch with Melissa. He got into it with multiple people like Jay and Asif. He won 2 mercenary eliminations on top of 4 eliminations for the entire season. He transitioned from USA to the MTV show pretty well. I think Kyland should be a staple for the next couple seasons.
He wants to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he gained 2 really great friends and allies in Nerys and Horacio in this season too. So like, I know that we make fun of these guys for like making their buddies, their vacation alliances and moving forward with them. But I think that's a genuine relationship he formed with those 2 people who are staples on this show. So like, I would love to see the 3 of them return and do some damage together.
I'll even go as far as to say that like, I might get like killed for saying this. Not really, but it is nice. And I even think that anymore these days, Tori, Devin, and Josh are actual friends. And they're part of that big vacation alliance that felt really awkward. And I hate to say it, but throw in Fessy, Casey, Nany, it does seem forced. But I feel like those 3 actually spend time together now. So it could be cool to see like a trio of them with a trio of Horacio, Kyland, Nerys, and just how that really works. I don't know. Yeah, I hope those 6 are locks. Like I feel like the 3, Tori, Devin, Josh definitely are. But I hope that Nerys, Horacio, Kyland are.
People will probably hate me for saying this, but Josh should have been on this season.
I don't. He should have, and they should have also made a concerted effort to get the Kaylas and the Corys and the Tonys to actually like up the ante a little bit and to have people to edit around. Because here's the thing. When this first came out, I was like, you know what? They're giving us these nobodies for the most part, so they can edit them for us. We can fall in love with them. For future seasons, we'll have this backstory with them. A lot of these people we did not see. We saw a lot of the same of who we know and like, which is cool. But if Zara went on this season, and she had great moments, Colleen, Berna, Ed even, Emmanuel, like so many people, it would not have made a difference to our viewing experience at all. The challenge has failed these people and us as viewers. It was a good season, don't get me wrong, but that's because we got to see the kind, Horacio, Nerys, Olivia, Jay, like that grouping of people.
I have one other winner from this season. I want to throw Raven's name in the mix because I think it was such a good showing for her, and I think I know that she's not going to be on 40, although I really wish she would reconsider because I think it's so essential to her to come back soon after this season that she had, to keep that love and keep that momentum.
I agree. Like, I feel like she is just good TV too.
She's authentic. She's not all the way there at all times, but also a good physical competitor. I think if Raven doesn't do next season, then she'll come back into 41 and she'll just be lost politically again. So if she wants any chance of thriving and succeeding on the show and actually going farther in the game, she's got to do next season.
I fear that
41 could be an exit season, give her Kieran, because
I fear that 40 is going to be a callback to old school people, which people will like and enjoy, but then 41 might just be back to the same. It could be cool if after 40 we get a mesh of the two, as people have been so badly dying for. But yeah, Raven I think is a winner. The biggest winner of this season for me is Chauncey. And I'm actually not really kidding that much, because he got his appearance check. He can say he did a season without Amber, and he got to go home, see his kid, and not waste his time on a season he wasn't going to win anyways. No offense, but like he probably got $10K for just showing up. Cool. Like that can go towards your baby. You were away for a week at most, and we never have to see him again because he ruined his one shot without Amber. We're all winners.
Well, I was gonna say, in the end, though, the viewers might be lumped in with the losers, considering how it ended. But we're not bigger losers than production.
Yeah, one more loser. I'm just gonna say Kaz and then nothing else. Just Kaz and nothing else.
Oh my god. Seriously.
Forgot about her, huh?
Well, I just want to say that this season has it's had its up and downs. It got really exciting there at one point. Didn't finish the strongest, but I had a lot of fun podcasting with you guys.
Same. There have been many seasons that I had dreaded podcasting just because it was like so much of the same all the time. This was refreshing, and I feel like 40 is going to be good too. I'm hopeful that after the reunion part 16,000, we get an All Stars 4 trailer. That could be great. And I'm going to say now, I've not spoken with these two people. They might not be down. I want to podcast that one because I think it's going to be really good.
That cast is too good to not podcast that season if we ever get it.
So here's our renewal announcement, unless Alan's about to shoot it down.
No, Luke, you forgot we renewed for All Stars 4 over a year ago when we signed off for Ride or Dies. We're like, all right, guys, All Stars 4 coming in a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, we will be doing All Stars 4.
Or season 40, whichever comes first.
Right.
I swear to God, we're never getting this All Stars 4 thing. Like, I have like my All Stars 4 blog up, like my All Stars 4 preview blog up, and it just keeps getting more and more views because people keep looking up All Stars 4, like when is it coming out, and it's gonna be my most viewed blog ever, just because it's taking so long. It's like it's the greatest preview ever.
Well, allegedly, there's 2 weeks of reunions, and they showed the trailer at the reunion. So maybe 2 weeks from now, we will have a trailer. Maybe I'm leading you astray. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Well, everyone, make sure to subscribe to the channel for when we do come back. We're not going to be recapping the reunion. No offense. We just don't do that here.
There's nothing really more that we can tell you.
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, CF Confessionals on Twitter. Wholeheartedly, I hope you guys all have a great week, great month, and I hope the challenge is back to us again soon because it's fun to talk to you all.
Ditto.
Agree.